Welcome back, everyone. This is Fiona from fionamarks.com. And I am sharing today part 2 of the series on paradigm shifts around change. We're looking at how life coaching and Vedic astrology approach change in different ways. And when we were here last time, we covered some of these big paradigm shifts. So that's all in video 1. But now let's get on and have a look at some quotes that I think share these different mindsets. And when I had a quote in mind, which is you'll see here, but when I put in my search terms, this was the first quote that came up. In times of rapid change, standing still is the most dangerous course of action. And I thought that, it made me laugh out loud because in some ways, the inspiration for this video series is that feeling the agony that's in your chart is going to empower you to make the best choices, be the most conscious and aware that you can possibly be, and therefore create less ripples that will need to be dealt with later. So in my mind, I wanted to make this video series to talk about feeling the agony that's in your chart. And then here we have, in a time of rapid change, standing still is the most dangerous course of action. So I thought that was a great quote to start off with. And really, I was looking more for a quote like this. For every action, or to every action, there is always an opposed and equal reaction. And this is that classic Newtonian physics idea that we have, that actions cause opposite reactions. And this is what I find so powerful about the paradigm shift, is that often when we feel discomfort, we want to take action, and life coaching encourages us to do that. And yet, if we do that unconsciously, we are creating an equal opposed reaction, and we may not be aware of that at the time, but we're just reacting away from the discomfort or away from the pain. So I think it's really important to look at, in our work as coaches or with a coach, that discomfort, what reaction is it prompting? And are we reacting on autopilot rather than pausing, comprehending, and transforming? Then another quote: the first step towards change is awareness. The second step is acceptance. So I like that this was coming from a Western perspective. So I've got 3 quotes now from what we would call like Western, European, or post the Age of Enlightenment kind of quotes. The first step towards change is acceptance. The second step is awareness. The second step is awareness. It brings these, I like this idea of awareness and acceptance. It brings these more Vedic astrology ideas in. But it's interesting, isn't it, that it's embedded in the language is that we're taking a step towards change. So it's kind of encoded into our modern thinking that change is good and that we should be moving towards change. And now, classic Albert Einstein: a calm and modest life brings more happiness than the pursuit of success combined with constant restlessness. I was amazed at how many words that picked up from the first paradigm shifts that we were talking about, that in life coaching, we can be in the paradigm that 1, life is about the pursuit of happiness, and 2, it's about the pursuit of success. And Albert Einstein has managed to bring those 2 themes into this quote. And Here's someone who conceptualized so much of the workings that are invisible behind physics, and what a in a way mundane or calm quote this is. Anyway, a calm and modest life brings more happiness than the pursuit of success combined with constant restlessness. Now, we're beginning to move more towards these thoughts and paradigms that are aligned with the more Vedic astrology view. It turns out that Eckhart Tolle, I think, has written a book about stillness, so I could have grabbed many quotes. There were many, many online, but here's one. When stillness becomes conscious, you begin to be guided by an intelligence far greater than the human mind. And this is, for me, the invitation that astrology is giving to us, which is the chance to be still with the pain that's in our chart. Because astrology is a great way to find out the dynamics that are creating the pain in our life. And it allows us to look at them objectively, and therefore we can be still with that. And what's interesting about Eckhart Tolle's quote is that in that stillness, he's suggesting we're accessing an intelligence greater than the human mind. And I think this is a nice counterbalance to what we think we're doing in coaching, which is empowering people, empowering the individual. And that, like I said in the previous video, that's wonderful, like moving yourself from a stuck position, from a victim position, to being empowered and taking action. It's wonderful, and I love it as an experience. Coaches love to see it. It's electrifying. It's inspiring. It's a wonderful thing. And yet Eckhart Tolle here is even inspiring us more, that actually there's even more intelligence and wisdom to be tapped into, and the key is going into the stillness. Conscious action does not produce karma, reaction does. So this is a nice addition to the Newtonian quote, to every action there is always opposed and equal reaction. We are being invited to be conscious of our actions, and through that awareness, that consciousness, cut down the ripples of reaction that will be creating more karma down the track. Carl Jung, such a great place to go for these quotes. Until you make the subconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. And this is such a great quote around for how we can work with astrology, because sometimes the objection to astrology is the sense of my life being dictated for me by some chart, and I don't want to be strapped into some fatalistic mentality. And here this quote is talking about, until we can look that fate or that karma in the face to bring the subconscious into the conscious, it's going to direct you. So therefore, the act of looking at your own chart and of understanding these dynamics that have been subconscious, bringing them into consciousness, that's what's actually going to give you the chance to make conscious choices and change the actions that you take. So beautiful quote. And then Prema Chodron, fear is a natural reaction to moving closer to the truth. So this is so powerful, because in the desire to empower people and to make change in our life or in other people's lives, sometimes that fear that the person is feeling is actually the direction that they should be going towards. So rather than making changes to get away from discomfort, it may be the case that going towards that discomfort is where the truth really is. So lots of inspirations for us here to change our paradigm. And this brings me back to, this is a photo taken on a trip to Australia in 2013, so 8 something years ago. On the day, this is my teacher used to have a board out on the main street where people would walk by. And on the day that I went to visit him, is this great quote from Joseph Campbell: "The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek." And I just love that because I'm traveling. I happen to have the backpack and everything. I look a little bit like I'm about to do some cave exploring there. So what do you find in examining these quotes and these mindsets? Or how do you reflect on your own life? And where are the places in your own life where you feel perhaps you want to run away from or not experience certain things, and yet they repeat over time? And what would it mean if actually that was the greatest place for you to be, where that was the truth that you need to spend time with, and that in unlocking that truth, there's so much energy that's freed up in the chart? I'd love to hear your thoughts about what have been your experiences in your life. And I invite you to keep following the series. And next, we're going to begin looking at where we might find some likely contenders for pain and discomfort in your chart or in other people's charts. And by knowing what to look for, we can go to our own chart and bear witness to our own pain, not change it, not move it, not transform it, just accept it, be with it, bear witness. I can't wait to speak to you about all of that. And I'll see you soon in the next episode. And until then, stay well.